you're using the Freeport system and the opacity of the art world to launder and conceal billions and billions and billions of dollars belonging to some of the worst people in the world. And the scheme I used is quite real, actually.
I know more about the art world than I deserve to because of Daniel Silva and Gabriel Allon. So I want to switch gears and talk about Freeports. Okay, and so for viewers and listeners that don't know what a Freeport is, I'll try to explain it, and Daniel can interrupt me if I've got it wrong.
No, I want you to explain it. You explain it.
But there are areas of cities near airports, frankly, where they're treated as tax-free zones. They're almost treated as an international zone for purposes of storing goods. It could be collectibles, it could be wine, art, even automobiles.
Yes.
And why is that done that way? Because you can ship something to Geneva and store it in a free port and not be taxed or tariffed on an incoming product or good or service coming into the country. And so there are free ports in Geneva, there are free ports in Singapore and other parts of the world where billions upon billions of dollars of art are stored in these free ports. Moreover, the very famous Salvador Mundi ended up in one of these free ports while it was transitioning before it was sold to Christie's. And so the free port concept comes up in this book. So tell us a little bit about the Geneva free port, Mr. Silva, and what the solution to the wider issue is that Gabriel discovers, and try to do it delicately, sir, if you don't mind.
Delicately.
I don't want to ruin the book for people.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to talk about it conceptually. Okay.
Yeah.
Let me start to take a different tack into it. But let us say that governments, our government, European governments, have awakened to the fact that fine art, especially very, very costly fine art, is a perfect way to launder money. Why is that? It's incredibly valuable. It's incredibly portable. It is subjective in values. I mean, it's worth whatever someone is willing to pay you for it, or whatever you're willing to pay for it. And increasingly, this is something we learned from the Panama Papers scandal, because when those documents came out, we were able to determine that a number of incredibly important dealers and collectors owned their paintings using anonymous shell companies created by Mossack Fonseca. And it doesn't take someone like me to see that that the Freeport system and anonymous sales using shell companies, where the money is flowing through offshore tax havens, oblivious to government. So the size of the art trade is $70 or $80 billion a year. Almost all of those sales are completely private. In most cases, the seller doesn't know the buyer doesn't know the seller. The government knows nothing at all. Governments know nothing at all. There's no regulation to speak of. And it's shell company to shell company, money moving out there in the ether someplace, and no taxation, no capital gains. It is a perfect way to launder money. And so the Freeport system, and I know my friends in the art world will probably take issue with this, but you can buy a painting. I'm around the corner from your office. You can buy your $100 million painting at Christie's, ship it to the Freeport in Geneva, and you're not going to pay any taxes on that. I can't go to Dwayne Reed and buy shaving cream without paying taxes.
No, it's a fascinating loophole.
I mean, how much you save in the state of New York doesn't receive when you ship your painting to a Freeport. I mean, it's
but this is a way that the rich avoid taxes, right? Because let's say I've come into a windfall.
Yep.
I buy the piece of art. I know that the art's going to appreciate due to the scarcity value of the art.
Yep.
I wait 15 years and I've got this tax-free accumulation of wealth.
Well, there's another way that you could do it, though. So you can, if you're nefarious, and this is, I use this scheme in the novel. I actually when I finished the book, I stumbled on a sort of a professional document that was prepared by an AML firm, and you deal with these people about the red flags that you need to look for if you're in the art business. But say you ship your painting to the Freeport, and so now it's there, it's hidden in a vault. The vault is rented by an offshore company, so you don't even know who the actual beneficial owner is of the company. You can sell your painting within the Freeport, and you could sell it for a profit and pay no capital gains on that transaction. It just moves from vault to vault, and so I created a scheme in this novel by which you're using the Freeport system and the opacity of the art world to launder and conceal billions and billions and billions of dollars belonging to some of the worst people in the world. The scheme I used is quite real, actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is why I love your books, is I'm always learning something in your books, and you are such a refined gentleman. It is nice to see that there's an aspect of your brain that can get to the nefarious nature of these SOBs that are out there.